You're listening to Women Infused Radio, where women in the marketplace connect with purpose and spirit, where the conversation covers all things women, business, and fascinating faith. And now, your host, Christy Lynn Olson.
Hello and welcome to the Women Infused podcast radio show. Today we have a special edition broadcast, and I have on the line my friend and my partner, Lynette Dutton. So Lynette, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. So glad you're joining us today.
We are excited to have you with us, and we're excited to talk to all of you out there about something new that we have partnered together with. And so it's called E for Christian Professional Women, and it's going to be a network and a monthly equipping luncheon for professional women of faith. We are starting it in the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, just because that's kind of where we're located. Lynette's a little outside of Charlotte, but I live in Charlotte. And so we thought, let's just bloom where we're planted. So Lynette, why don't you and I just kind of have a conversation? I'd love for our listeners just to hear like the vision behind why do we feel we need to start this now and what it looks like. So why don't you share a little bit, like, why do you think, what's the biggest reason that you want to start this?
Well, I have been to so many networking, connecting women's events, you name it. I mean, everywhere from the chamber to BNI groups to E-Women Network. And we can, just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 31. There's so many things that I've gone out there to try to meet and connect with like-minded, like-faith people. And nothing really resonated with me. Some had very good portions. Some I made some great people. But as far as ongoing and, new connections, new collaborations, really having that faith element along with the connecting piece, it seemed to be missing. So, me and you have sat down for so many lunches and podcasts and collaboration. And, as we were talking, I would ask you, you would ask me, well, where are you connecting with people? What are you finding? And it seemed like, we would find somebody here and there, or we'd be able to connect with people. But as far as having that consistent, collaborating, faith-filled environment, we just couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. And through our conversations and our lunches, kind of before we realized it, I think, kind of outlined what we'd really like to see. And, through the last year, kind of thought, let's just do this, because if we're looking for this, right, maybe somebody else is.
Right.
Well,
yeah. And I think it was interesting. You and I actually kind of took some time and prayed about it. And we both mm-hmm. came up to the Ephesians chapter 4. And there are a lot of verses about Ephesians 4, but that was kind of the basis for this. And I agree with everything you said. It was like we would go to someplace, but that faith element was just missing. And there are a lot of local churches that have programs for women, but I never felt like they had something that spoke to either women business owners or women who work out in the marketplace. You're an attorney or you work at some of the banks here in Charlotte. Wherever you're working, there isn't this place to kind of refresh and reconnect and get built up in kingdom business. And so, Ephesians, the one verse in Ephesians 4 that stuck out for me, and you're going to speak more to this at the luncheon, especially that we start on May 11th, but Ephesians 4 was to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up. And you and I just get so excited about that, because it's going to take all of us. And that's when you said to foster collaboration and unity. I get excited. But, do you want to share a little more about like Ephesians 4 and what else does that speak to you? Kind of why are we doing this?
Well, there is so much to Ephesians 4 that really speaks and ministers to me and really pulls out my calling. And I know we're going to talk about it a lot at our luncheon this coming week. But one of the verses in the scripture I really like is verse 7. Mm-hmm. Yet grace, God's undeserved favor, was given to each one of us, not indiscriminately, but in different ways, in proportion to the measure of Christ's rich and abundant gift. Mm-hmm. And that part of it, and then it goes into saying, therefore it says, when he ascended on high, he led captivity captive, and he bestowed gifts on men. And that bestowing of gifts on men is he gave us gifts and his undeserved favor and each one of us has different ways in proportion to the measure of Christ's gift that we can display and that we're purposed and assigned to function in. And what I think is when we all get together and we're all operating in our assignment and our gifts and our callings, there are some that are really gifted to be encouragers and the hospitality and, are just really thoughtful and just make you feel so loved every time you're around and like you're just number one. And then you've got those people that are just strategists. They can plan and they can strategize and they come up with the most phenomenal things. Well, if somebody's got in the hospitality industry, they also need the strategy.
Right.
They also need those thought things. So I think when we all come together and we're in that unity of Christ, allowing his gifts to flow through us, we can just add so much to each other. And, it just brings that grace and that undeserved favor and those godly connections that really can take us to levels we can't get to on our own.
Yes, isn't that the truth? And I love what you said about the unique gifts, and they complement each other. I think we're in this new level where we aren't going to all be doing it alone. And I know so many of us have had ministries and businesses that allow us to do ministry, and we're all doing our own thing. And it's starting to get lonely, but it's also starting to just be stagnant. And that's why I'm excited as well when you talk about empowering all of us to develop our gifts. And then, kind of connecting us together, how much more powerful we can be. So that is empowering in and of itself. And that's actually our first word on our logo. If you look at our website, it's empower. Yay. So really empower you to develop your unique gifts. So that was such a great explanation and just kind of the vision of what we want to do with that. And in order to be empowered, the next E on our list was equipped. And I love that from Ephesians 4, verse 1, equip you to lead a life worthy of your calling. And that's where I get really excited as well, because we know what our gifts are, but we feel less than equipped to step out. And how do we do that? And how do we live fully in our calling? So I know that's something that we're also going to be doing a lot of teaching on over the next couple of months. Not just empowering you, but equipping all of the women who are going to be coming to fully step into those gifts and fully live a life worthy of their calling, so they can experience the joy that Jesus talks about and God talks about, that we really step into that. And as we do that, so I know you're good at equipping, we also need to learn to engage. So when we engage in the marketplace, we're going to influence the culture. And you're a woman in the marketplace. How important is it to you, or what have you seen as far as women either engaging or not engaging? Like, can we really impact and influence the culture as a woman of faith? What's your opinion on that?
Oh, I think we can do so much more than we even think we can do. It really just takes one person to go out there and make a huge impact on culture. Because if you think of the influence people carry, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So if you look at a woman, and the influence she has in her house, her husband, her kids, but then in the influence she has in her neighborhood, but the influence she has in her business, when you're looking at business, and I'll just take my industry, I've been in the financial industry for 20 years, is a lot of times it wasn't just the president, the CEO, or the person with the title that had the influence. A lot of times it was a woman, simply because women are caring and they're people, they are people.
Right.
They can relate and build those relationships with people. So a lot of times where, they look for, the manager or whoever the top dog is, a lot of times it's a service rep, or it's somebody there who is remembering the birthdays, keeping the team on the same page, being thoughtful to the clients, and turning the whole culture in an office around. And she doesn't have the pay grade, and sometimes she doesn't even have the title. But her doing that And I'm going to tell you, I didn't have the pay grade and I didn't have the title. I started as a part-time teller. And I gained the influence of a branch because I was willing to go the extra mile, not only with clients, but with helping people in different roles, and just going outside until I climbed my way, because of the influence I gained, to being a branch manager.
Right.
So it's sometimes just that one person who that thinks they're insignificant, which carries so much influence, that's really impacting the community for good. And it just takes one. So in this group, we have a lot of ones, but when you put that together and have a company of women, you have a group of women that are in unity, that are helping, and they're not competing, but they're collaborating and completing each other. It just causes everything to soar and multiplies the influence that one of us could have.
It really does. And, that also is what I'm excited about this group is we really are going to be, and I can tell you from the people who have already registered and from our circles of influence, we are multicultural, cross-generational, a wide variety of business professionals, women-owned businesses, entrepreneurs. And that is also how we are going to influence the culture. And, when people look at this organization, they're going to see someone who looks like them. And not that that's critical, but I think it also can keep people from stepping into their gifts and especially influencing their culture at work if they feel like they're the only one in the room that looks like them or has the pay grade as them, and they don't have that power, but they do. And so that's why I think as we engage with each other, we're going to learn that there are a lot of voices at the table, but there's always another seat at the table. There's always room for your voice. And always. I know you and I feel very strongly about that, especially about the voice of the woman being at the table. And so I'm just excited that God has kind of opened this door and given us favor to start this organization so that we can reach all of these different women who have maybe felt isolated or maybe felt like there isn't an organization for them. And some of us, frankly, have to change our thinking as well. We have to change our mindset. Right. It's not going to be, we may be challenged a little bit, but if we're all operating under the power of love and under the power of the Holy Spirit as we enter into this new space, we know it can't fail. We know it's going to be that next thing. And so I get excited about that. So thanks for talking about engage. That's kind of our third word. And our fourth word is enlarge. And, kind of on the topic of as we enlarge our vision and our mindset, this is where if we're going to enlarge our territory as we impact this generation, we're going to need strategies. We're going to need business principles, leadership principles, but they have to come from this place of a biblically based principle, a strategy that we know is heaven sent, but maybe I don't have all of those strategies, but I might hear something that you're going to do, and in that spirit of collaboration and unity, I'm going to be like, oh, I could do that as well. So, how do you see this? Or maybe what's your definition too? That's mine of how do we enlarge our territories? Kind of how do we get new strategies? How do we learn from each other so we can have greater impact? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. Well, enlarging our territory and our influence is huge. And you posted something on one of the ads, and it was the definition of enlarge. And I just loved it. To extend, expand, grow. And this is what really got me, to amplify.
Yes, I love that word.
I just love it. And I was thinking of our voices, how when we can get together, how that amplifies what we could do alone. And so that's just really exciting. But, as a woman, when you go out there, there's something that you speak louder, your posture is better when you're confident.
Yes.
And knowing that there is a company of women that are helping to empower, equip, engage you will automatically enlarge you. Because it's like, I'm thinking of this lioness pack. And the lion that kind of leads the pack, the confidence she has because she knows everybody's got her back. And that allows them to go and to take territory. And I think that's really what our calling in this day and this season is to really take territory. We have sat back and allowed others to go in. We've allowed, just the world to go take the business industry. We've allowed men to go take the business industry. We've allowed, all these other things to go and occupy the territory that is rightfully our place.
Right.
And I go back and I think of Lydia in the Bible, and how she was a seller of fine purple.
Mm-hmm.
And that you think, okay, oh, wow, she's in business. But she financed ministry. She financed kingdom work. She was very intricate to Apostle Paul and ministry that was happening in that day. And I think, so many of us women look at ourselves and say, we can't take territory. We can't do this. We're limited. But I think there's a new generation of women that are on the forefront right now that are saying, oh, yes, we can.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Bible. There are Deborahs in the Bible. There are
Absolutely.
Sarahs in the Bible. There are Lydias in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And that just can really fuel us to, enlarge those tents.
And I think you hit on something that kind of struck a chord with me. We're not taking someone else's territory. We're not stealing territory. It's so important to know.
No.
And that's why, we need to come together for equipping, because not everybody is teaching this. We are just stepping into what God originally ordained for us.
Yes.
And that is what I think is so key for a lot of women to hear, so they can understand. We're not going to tell you how to take somebody else's territory. We are just going to empower and equip you to stand fully in the territory that God already predestined for you. And I think so many women don't even understand how large that territory is. It's kind of like, God told the Israelites to walk out the promised land, and he would give them everything they walked out. Well, they only walked out almost, I don't remember what the percentage was. They never fully walked out the entire initial vision that God had for them. And so he only gave them what they walked out. And so that's what I think is so critical in this whole step, is that we are going to be teaching women how to walk out all of their territory that will stand next to the next woman, and she can walk out her territory because now she's seen you step out in faith. And so there is something to, we just did this book series, We Walk by Faith and Not by Sight. So it really ties in perfect, because we're now putting feet to that, and we're saying, hey, I want to walk out together. Let's walk this territory out together so we can take advantage and fully take all God has already in the heavenlies given us, and we need to just pull it down. And so we're going to give women strategies. How do we pull this down and make our earthly work here become more of the spiritual that he intended for us, if that makes sense? So I get excited.
Yes.
We could, we need to stop pretty soon, because we're going to start teaching everything that we need to do. So there never is going to be a lack of what, we feel the Lord has downloaded into you and I. To release this fresh word to these women. So I really am excited about doing it. I just want to mention quick before I forget, if anyone is interested, we would love to have you come already May 11th at the Duke Mansion, which is an amazing place here in Charlotte. You can go to e4women.org. The letter E, the number 4, women.org to get your registration details. But we also have our dates planned out all the way through December. If you don't live in Charlotte, we would love to have you come in, visit us. You can even stay overnight at the Duke Mansion. You can treat yourself. They have a bed and breakfast there. It would be amazing. We know there are a lot of you in other cities. Our God desire is that we can take this kind of to other cities, but right now we're just going to bloom where we're planted, start here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Get on a plane, drive. We're definitely willing to welcome you here, but go get your ticket. Ask us any questions. We've got all the information on the website. As we step out now, Lynette, is there anything else that you want to share about what we're doing, or what you think women need to hear about this?
Well, I'm just really excited. And I think if you're a woman of faith and in any area of business, that you will come, you'll be able to connect, and you'll really be able to take away some really key nuggets to help you excel in business, in your career as an entrepreneur. And I'm excited to share with you. I hope to see you, this Thursday. If not, come and be a part in June. It's going to be an amazing time. I know spring and summer is not always the best time to start something, but I know me and you both felt on our hearts that we've just got to get out there, and we've just got to start where we're at. So we're excited, and I know this is going to minister to you. This is going to enlarge you, equip you, encourage you, and engage you for everything that God has for you.
Absolutely. Amen. And, I just have to, because you and I also have a great sense of humor. I posted the other day too. I'm like, you know what? If no other reason, come for the cheesecake and stay for the connection, because this food is going to be amazing. It is the most beautiful place with gardens, but we also have the most amazing chef that's going to be doing custom food for us. And so I really think if nothing else, come for the cheesecake tart with shaved white chocolate truffle or whatever that is. So, we aren't going to enlarge you that way. We hope not, but
Hope not.
it is one of those things that we love our cheesecake as women, so I am excited.
Exactly.
I'm excited about that. But yes,
me too.
I think anyone, you've said it more beautifully than I could, just putting all those words together. We want you to come. If you can't be there in May, please come in June. Every month, we've already got some people sign up for June. We know we're going to grow. We also know that God is just totally having us walk this out by faith. So we'd love for you to be a part of the faith journey. And Lynette, thank you for taking some time today.
Thank you, Christy.
Yes, and we look forward to seeing all of you. So thanks for listening, and we will see you on the next podcast.
This has been Women Infused Radio, connecting women around the globe with purpose and spirit. And we want to connect with you. Get your free gift, Unveiled Voices, 6 things you need to do to define your value, voice, and vision. For more information on the free gift and links to join the conversation on social media, visit us at ChristyLynnOlson.com.